Welcome back. I'm Brent Meredith. You probably know we're big fans of the community choir Nashville in Harmony here at Out and About today, but you may not know they also have a youth choir, cleverly known as the Major Minors, and they're just as outstanding. So joining me now to talk about the group and how you can help them meet an exciting opportunity is Director Joseph Lee and Choir President Shay Cromwell. Welcome. Good to see you both.
Thank you. Such a pleasure to be here.
Of course. I'm so glad we finally got this to come together. So let's start, if you would, with a little bit of background. Tell me about the formation of the Major Minors and how you came to be the director, Joe. We can start with you and then Shay jump in at the end.
Sure. Well, the Major Minors is the youth chorus of Nashville in Harmony. We offer LGBTQIAP plus and allied youth ages 12 to 18 an opportunity to discover their voice, build their community, and become powerful self-advocates and agents of social change. They discover their voice as they perform songs that build self-esteem, express their experiences, their identity, and their hope to audiences across Middle Tennessee. Now, Shay was one of the organizers of Major Minors, so I'm going to let them tell you how it came to be.
Thank you, Joe. So I am the current president of Nashville in Harmony, but I started off as the program director for Major Minors. Major Minors started as a sort of a vision of the Nashville in Harmony membership as an out to help our mission grow. To grow our community. Nashville in Harmony's mission, of course, is to use music to build community and create social change. And since 2004, the adult chorus has been creating community and creating social change. But they wanted to expand that mission. And in 2016, they announced, under the leadership of Brent and Bridget Meadows, actually, they announced that they were going to create a youth chorus, and they recruited me into leadership and asked me to sort of create this chorus. And so I spent some time working on that, figuring out how it was going to work and how to recruit people and what it would look like. And in 2017, June, I believe, we had our inaugural show. We debuted with the Nashville in Harmony adult chorus at the spring performance. Originally, it was under the artistic leadership of Don Schlosser, but when he retired from Nashville in Harmony, it gave us an opportunity to hire Joe. And we are so lucky to have found the talent and the experience and the passion that Joe brings, not just to that program, but to the organization as a whole.
Thank you so much, Sherry.
Yeah, that deserves a thank you, right, Joe? Sorry to interrupt there. I really appreciate that introduction. That is a nice history of the group and how it formed. But like so many other arts groups, I know y'all, and I feel like we have to talk about COVID, right? Because everything's due to the COVID now. But I did at least want to touch on, and I know this is something Joe and I talked about a little bit when we met, how it affected you guys and how you're sort of able to get past it. I know you guys had to cancel your holiday concert and events, and that was a big disappointment, I'm sure, for you guys and for everybody who wanted to attend. But how do you keep a choir motivated and going in times like that? What did you guys found was the secret to keeping people interested?
Well, honestly, the first thing to say is that our membership is incredibly resilient. Our members understand that we use music and performance as a tool, but it's not our product. Our product is the community that we build. And we are an extremely bonded, community that enjoys fellowship with one another. So we spent a lot of time during this COVID pandemic doing Zoom gatherings. There was a ton of that. I mean, and Zoom gatherings and rehearsals, it's not easy, it's not ideal, but it managed to sustain us. We had, with the Major Minors, official monthly social gatherings for a while, and the singers weren't so into the idea of rehearsing online, so we did videos instead. And in fact, we did this really cute pass it on video, which is sort of a viral video where one person has something in their hands and they pass it off screen to somebody else. And so we were able to create a pass it on video during the COVID epidemic when it was first really bad. And we did it to a song called Write Our Own Story, which was a song that the Major Minors actually wrote in conjunction with Gen Out, which is our sister youth chorus in Washington, D.C. At our 2019 summer camp, they worked worked together to create this original piece. And so we created an original video to go with that. And that was a lot of fun to do during the pandemic, to still be creating art together.
Well, that sounds interesting because, as you mentioned, you were able to find ways to do maybe some things that you maybe wouldn't have had time or the foresight or the opportunity to do without it. And I'm curious, Joe, as sort of the director and the person who is leading the the rehearsals, talk a little bit about how it affected sort of your role and sort of the creative way that you were able to get around that and actually start rehearsals again.
That's a really great question, Brent. As part of my teaching philosophy is that the journey is as important, if not more important, than the destination. So all of the many hours we put into learning the music, to building community, to building self-awareness, none of that was lost. That was all so incredible, even though we didn't get to perform. Now, I did just celebrate my first year with Major Minors, or I'm about to, and we started off in late January with our first virtual meeting. By the end of February, we graduated to hybrid rehearsals, utilizing a wonderful outdoor parking garage space that I know in South Nashville. We moved to sort of a hybrid model where some of the singers were in person and some were online. And I tell you, getting together in person in that venue, in that format, outside, distance, masked, and safe, I just can't tell you what an impact that had. After almost 10 months of not very much activity and certainly not singing together, we started to rebuild. And it was a very tangible moment in our recent history, and things are going really, really well today.
I'm so glad to hear that. And again, an opportunity to sort of start afresh, step back and look at something from a new perspective. It's always helpful, I feel. And Shay touched on this a little bit earlier, but I'm curious to know from your perspective. So the choir is certainly a safe space for its members, but can you share a little bit about how you've sort of seen it be a positive impact on its members? Maybe if a member was dealing with something, in their lives that wasn't terribly positive, or they weren't feeling the best. How do you find that, they find comfort in the group and it sort of brings them, helps them get through these sorts of things?
That's a good question.
Absolutely. Since its founding in 2017, this group has worked with the families and helped over 50 youth from the Davidson County area, so 7 counties. And I have had so many parents talk to me about how it saved their kids' lives, how when the kids get together and sing, they haven't seen their kid have a group of friends to hang out with before, and they begin to see their child smile, laugh, engage, and use their voice. I mean, it's one of the most unique things to experience. But in this age group, a lot of these youth have started to self-censor, and they are beginning to lose their voice, not literally, but figuratively. Mm-hmm. Like they hide who they are. And at Major Minors, they get to be themselves without apology, So they begin to learn to use their voice. They find other people with whom they can show their authentic selves, be their authentic selves, and this beauty emerges. It's like a phoenix from the ashes, Brent. It's really something. And we've had so many parents come in and so many kids come in and talk about the difference that this has made in their lives. And Joe, I'm sure you've seen it.
I just want to tell a quick little story. The day we performed at Franklin Pride, the inaugural Franklin Pride, we had a dinner afterwards across the street, and one of the singers came up to me and said, they gave me a hug and they said, "Joe, I just want you to know, I credit this organization, this choir. It's part of the reason I'm still around. I'm so grateful to the universe that I found you all, because this is an enormous part of my life now, and it's part of the reason I look forward to getting up every day." We just can't. It's impossible to estimate the positive impact that this has had on our families. I don't know about YouTube, I only wish I had an organization like this when I was their age. I can't imagine what an impact that could have had in my life.
I 100% agree, and that's a great place for us to transition because we've got to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with more Major Minors after the short messages. Stay with us.